Was it really simpler back then? Or is that really just what I've chosen to remember? And so we're sitting here, we're scrolling and we're rewinding and we're trying to recreate these old interfaces and watch like these VHS style edits of our own memories. And it's because we're looking for something that we just can't name. I catch myself watching like old commercials on YouTube. I know, like the VHS fuzz and like these weird jingles playing over these cereal commercials. It makes me feel something. Today, I want to talk about missing things that we never really lived through, like this nostalgia feeling. There are home videos from my childhood where everyone's still alive, right? It's Christmas Eve, the house is full, there's 50 people laughing, eating, there's fish frying, you know, people are moving in and out of the frame like ghosts frozen in time. And when I watch them now, I feel something that's not joy, right? I don't feel happy about it. I'm not comforted. It's like this longing, this thick longing for something I can't get back. And the other day on Mother's Day, we were watching videos of my son when he was little. My 10-year-old son was watching these videos, and he's watching even people he barely remembers that he never really got to know. And he looks at me and he says, I wish I could go back, just turn this off. A 10-year-old aching for a time that he didn't even really live in. And I get it because I've spent my entire life feeling the exact same way. I was born in the 80s, the late 80s. So I didn't really get that 80s era, but I feel so connected to the 80s in a way that's really hard to explain. For example, my husband and I, we watch this show Raising Kanan, and I think of that time okay, the concept is a little different, but I think of it and I feel nostalgic. I feel like I miss it. The music, the movies, the clothes, the grainy videos. Even the shows I used to watch as a kid, I would watch I Love Lucy and Bewitched and Happy Days. And these were decades before I was born, but I was watching them as like a 5-year-old girl, and they felt like home. It felt like I belonged there. And today I catch myself watching like old commercials on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, and like the VHS fuzz and like these weird jingles playing over these cereal commercials, and it makes no sense to me, but it makes me feel something. And again, it's not this comfort. It's not like I feel good when I watch it. I feel like I'm aching inside. Like I miss something that was supposed to be mine, but it never really was. Does that make sense? And I don't think I'm alone in this because everywhere I look, people are reaching backwards, right? Like you've got these young kids today, and they're looking at like Y2K edits, and they're using digital cameras for fun, like flip phones, and they think this stuff is so cool, like they're doing it on purpose. So I don't think that we're just nostalgic for childhood. I think we're nostalgic for a version of the world that was slower and softer and less, I don't know, curated. This world where people actually made mistakes in public and then didn't get to delete them, right? Where, like those first websites, they looked really bad, but they were real, like MySpace or whatever. Everything wasn't designed to just keep us scrolling like it is today, And sometimes I catch myself wondering, and I've been wondering this my whole life. Was it really simpler back then? Or is that really just what I've chosen to remember? I think of this Barbara Streisand song, right? And The Way We Were, right? And she says, could it be that it was all so simple then, or has time rewritten every line? And I think about that all the time. It always sticks out to me because maybe the past wasn't actually easier like we think of it. Maybe it was just as messy and painful and complicated. But I don't know, time has a way of smoothing those edges for us. And when life feels overwhelming like it does in this day and age, right? When the noise is so loud and the world is moving too fast, we don't just miss the past. We almost miss this version of ourselves that felt safe in it. Like it was a safer time. It was an easier time. Um, or maybe we just imagine that we did because I don't know. I look back and I think, well, that time really sucked when I was in it, but I'm now longing for it. And either way, that longing is real. And actually, psychologists have a name for it. It's what do they call it? It's called vicarious nostalgia, and it's like feeling homesick for a past that you didn't actually live through. And it's a real thing, it's valid and it's actually growing. And that's because the world is demanding so much from us now. It's constantly asking us to do stuff, constant updates and endless content and notifications and expectations, and there's just no room to breathe. We talked about cognitive overload before. It's the same thing. Our brains can't possibly take it anymore. It's just like too much. It's too much. It just wants to shut down. And when that happens, we kind of retreat, like we talked about, like the scrolling and escaping. But sometimes we reach backwards. Even if we never lived there, the past is like this safe place to hide. And I'm going to be honest about something. I don't get excited about new stuff, like new apps and new this and new technology. I really don't. Like, I know some people that's really cool, new robots and whatever, but I don't get excited about that stuff because I don't know, when I hear like the opening notes of a song from 1983, or I see old family films where everyone's still alive, or I catch an episode of The Wonder Years or whatever, whatever show it is, it pulls on my heart a little bit more than anything new. And that's not because I want to be a child again, although sometimes I like that, lack of responsibility, but it's because I want to feel safe. I want to feel like a child felt, like this easygoingness. I felt like I was part of something back then. And I think that's what this like digital nostalgia is really about. I don't think it's about like, oh, different filters or things like that. I think it's about connection because we're so far apart now. Families live across the country. My sister lives in Boston. Aunt lives in Jersey. Uncle lives in Florida. Everyone's so far away. Friends, they move every few years, and we're out here chasing ambition and chasing novelty and traveling and doing all this stuff. And somewhere along the line, we forget to stay close. Even when we see each other a little bit, we're not close anymore. And so we're sitting here, we're scrolling and we're rewinding and we're trying to recreate these old interfaces and watch like these VHS style edits of our own memories. And it's because we're looking for something that we just can't name. And the past gives us something solid to hold. And so if I could bring back one thing, I don't think it would be any sort of trend. It would be that feeling of Christmas Eve when everyone was still alive, when the house was loud, really loud, and so hot that you had to open the windows because there were too many people in it and the ovens were going. And when being together wasn't just a holiday, it was actually life, because that was something that we did on Sundays even, or just barbecues in the summer for no reason. And we had all these people over, and that's what I miss the most. I think that's what a lot of us miss, even if we never really had it, because I think we feel it in our bones. I think we're just dying to feel connection, because nostalgia doesn't just reach back. I think it points us toward what we value, and it reminds us that something is missing now. And so obviously we're never going to go back, right? We can't go backwards, but I don't think that's the point. I think that nostalgia is more like a compass, right? Not like get trapped in this longing, right? I think it's just kind of telling us to make it matter now, right? Like host the dinner and turn off your phone, sit with your kid, even though they're watching the dumbest shit and you don't feel like it and you want to do 700 other things, light some candles and just make an ordinary day feel like something worth remembering, because I guarantee that one day it will be. And I told my husband this recently. I said, do you know that the next 5 years of our life are going to be the times that we look back on and say, these were the best days of our life? And I know that because I look back even when my son was little, and I look at those videos with my son and I say, oh my God, those were the best days of our lives. And I think we're living in the best days of our lives right now, and we don't know it until we get past it. And then we're in the next phase and we say, wow, we really should have savored that more. So I think just make it count, make it matter now.